on family responsibility leave. Therefore, the committee needs to elect a chairperson for this meeting in terms of Rule 823 of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament. Western Cape Provincial Parliament, it states that in the absence of the chairperson from a meeting, the committee must elect one of its members to be acting chairperson at that particular meeting. I now take nominations.
Good day, Namonde.
Morning, member. Morning, member.
Good morning. Based on your opening remarks, Procedural Officer, I would like to nominate Member Lorraine Botha as our acting chairperson for this meeting today.
Noted, member.
Seconded.
Seconded. Member Botha. Oh, Member Baku is seconded. Okay, Member Botha, you are duly elected as a chairperson for this meeting. You can take over.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Namonde. And thank you to the committee members for proposing that. Lorraine Botha, I am acting chairing for this standing committee meeting on health today. I'm going to ask members to all introduce themselves. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson. My name is Rachel Van Vogel.
Morning, Chairperson, Regan Allen.
Good morning, Ricardo McKenzie.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dombizanele Gladys Baku Force.
Thank you. Is that now all members present? Thank you very much. I note our legal advisor, Mr. Romeo Marstorp. Please be welcome in this meeting today. And then I also want to welcome Siraj, who is assisting us with our IT this morning, and then to our capable procedural officer, Namonde Jamka, and also our senior procedural officer, Mr. Ben Daza. I would also want to welcome all those that are tuning in to our Standing Committee of Health. Please be welcome on this platform. Members, by now you all know the rules of engagement in terms of using the virtual platform. Please, if you want me to note you, please use the raise your hand function, as well as you could also just indicate in the chat bar that you need to be acknowledged in order to pose a question or to give input. I also noted that Member Bosman has joined us. Member
Thank you.
Bosman.
Good morning, Chairperson Gillian Bosman.
Thank you very much. Without any further ado, members, our business of today is the we are deliberating on the nominations of members of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament to the hospital boards in terms of Section 52A of the Western Cape Hospital Boards and Clinic Committees on the Clinic Committees Act rather of 2016. So I'm going to then ask Ms. Jamke, in regard to our recommendation that we have made, and in regard to the notice that you have sent out to the chief whips of parties in regard to communication to all their members, to propose themselves to serve on the hospital boards in regard to the list of vacancies that we have received. What have we received? Over to you.
Over to you, Chairperson. We received a total of 6 submissions from the members of Parliament. Out of all the members of Parliament, only 6 that submitted who showed interest that they want to serve in hospital board.
Okay, can you just refresh us again in regard to the list of vacancies that we have received? How many vacancies were there or are there?
Let me check now. I'm going to flag, Chair, the document on this screen because let me check quickly. Okay, this is the list of all the documents of the vacancies of the hospital board vacancies. So we have Worcester, we have
All right, we have Worcester. Namonde, don't go so quickly. Okay, so we have Worcester. Yes, we have George. Helderberg, Kailicha, Karl Bremer, Alexandra.
WCRC.
What is that one?
It's the Western Cape Recreation Centre.
Oh, okay. Then it's Culloden, then it's Hermanus. I'm counting 9. Then it's Swartland. Go. Bergrivier Cluster, Pietersdal, Ceres. Brevels Kloof, that's also Worcester. Ladysmith, Mossel Bay. Okay, so I'm counting 22, is it?
3, 4.
What?
6. Yes.
Okay, and we only have received 6. Now the 6 that we have received, the 6 nominations that we have received, did they indicate to any of the hospitals on this list?
Some members, Chairperson, indicated on the that they want to serve in some of the hospitals that are on this list. However,
okay, Namonde, can we eliminate from this list those list of names that you have received matching this list?
Can I read the
Yes, sure.
I don't know now. Okay. There's a okay.
Namonde, your voice is kind of faint.
I don't know. I was hearing a noise at the back of my. Okay. The members that have submitted, Chairperson, the names. It's Member Philanda. She indicated that she would like to serve to the PAL Hospital Board.
Okay, but PAL is not on this list, right?
PAL Hospital Board is not on this list.
Okay, all right.
A member, Vinvogel, nominated herself to serve to the Swellendam Hospital Board.
Okay, which is on this list.
It's on this list.
Okay.
Member Bosman nominated himself to serve to the Ladysmith Hospital Board.
Which is also on this list.
Yes. And Member Bota, which is yourself, you nominated to serve on both the Beck Referral Cluster and Citrusdal Board.
Yeah, which is also on this list.
On this list. Member Barnes nominated herself to serve on the Beaufort West Hospital Board, which is it's not on this list.
Okay.
Member McKenzie submitted his name to serve to the Mitchells Plain Hospital Board, and he also said that if maybe he cannot be, appointed to this one, his second option is the WCRC, which is the Western Cape Recreational, that WCRC Hospital Board.
All right, so Mitchells Plain is not on the list, but the WCRC is on this list, right?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, All right. Is that it?
Yes, Chairperson. It's only
Okay.
six members.
Okay. So of the 22 on this list, Member Baka Force, I note you. I'm going to come back to you now, and members Alan and McKenzie. I'll give you an opportunity now. So on this list we have now Swellendam, we have Lady Smith, we have the Bergrivier cluster, the Citrus Dal, and we have the WCRC.
Yes.
Covered from this list. Okay.
Yes,
okay. So members, I'm just going to take your questions or proposals. Member Baka Force.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know what happened because I sent to Nomonde my nominating myself for club mats. I don't know if she received that, but I didn't put an alternative.
Okay, but Club Mits is also a hospital that's not on this list, right? You're talking about the clinic?
Yes, the clinic.
Okay, it's also not on this list. So I'm just going to park that for now. I'll come back to you. Member Allen? Member Allen?
Thank you so much, Chairperson. I have just communicated with Nomonde via email, a forwarded email that I've sent to our office, which I've also copied in members of this committee, where I have submitted my name in a list of preference to serve on hospital boards, and that was sent on Sunday evening already.
I saw that, yeah, somewhere. I saw that.
So I think, Chairperson, that from my side, that was submitted, but then I would also just want to double check, Chairperson, in terms of the notice that we have received. The notice stated that we had to submit members or appoint or nominate members to the attached list. Are we able to then also, in our minutes this morning, add members that wishes to serve on a hospital board that is not on the list, but should a vacancy arise, then the minister will have that names already. If we are able to potentially do it that way in the minute as well. But I just wanted to highlight that my submission was sent in, and I've listed 4 hospitals in an order of preference. It's the Western Cape Recreation Centre.
Yeah.
And the second one is the Alexandra Hospital.
Yeah.
Third, Paul Bremer. And 4, Khayelitsha Hospital Board. That's in a order of preference, but I would be okay with any one, basically. But I am also aware that Khayelitsha might be a bit more difficult regarding communication for me.
Okay, thank you very much. And also your first question in regard to nominating others for hospital boards, we're going to give an opportunity to Mr. Marstorp just to guide us in regard to how that will work and in regard to the act. Member McKenzie? Member Allen, lower your hand, please.
Thank you, Chairperson. Yes, the first point was covered by Member Ellen on the members that have not submitted the names, if we can submit the names now. And then my second point, I just want the minutes to reflect that my nomination was for the Mutual Spleen Board. And if there's not a vacancy right now, I still want my name to be forwarded. Should a vacancy becomes available, we don't restart the process and if you come back to the committee again. I just wanted to make that point. Thank you.
Thank you, Member McKenzie. So noted. Member Bosman.
Thank you, Chairperson, and once again, good morning, colleagues. Chair, I just wanted to check in terms of the procedure and if Advocate Marstorp can also perhaps answer this in his input. Are we only allowed to nominate members of Parliament? Can we also nominate councillors or other public reps that live in and work in these constituencies? And then my second question, Chair, would be in terms of the same procedure, does the minister only want to appoint one member of parliament to a specific board, or can we in instances have more than one member of parliament? Thank you, Chair.
Sorry, colleagues, I'm on mute. I was saying members McKenzie and member Baku Vos, I note your hands are raised once more. Is that okay? Thanks, member McKenzie. Member Baku Vos, is that in addition to what you said previously?
Yes, it's
Sure,
I
go
wanted
ahead.
to say chairperson. I would like to be nominated when the vacancy comes to Stellenbosch Hospital or Clutes Clinic, include Eilicha Hospital.
Okay, so you want to be nominated for Stellenbosch and for Khayelitsha hospitals. And then you also indicated the committee for Klapmuts.
Yes, Chair, and Clutesville Clinic.
Oh, and Clutesville as well. Okay. Namondi, you have that?
Sorry?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, and thank you, Namonde. Advocate Marsdorp, if you can guide us on those questions posed by members in regard to, are we privy as the committee to now, because we only received the few names that we have received, are we privy now to assign members to boards? And is it just in regard to members in accordance with the Act, or can we also from this committee assign councillors to boards? And are we as members can then serve on, or can more than one member serve on the same board? Advocate, if you can guide us, please.
Thank you, Chairperson. With reference to...
Sir, your voice is very faint.
I will just try and adjust my speaker volume here. I hope it's better now, Chair.
You are.
Yeah,
thank you.
Chairperson, with reference to the query regarding the forwarding of names for which there are no vacancies. We have had this conversation before, and I'll just give the following background. We do know that the appointment to boards of members of parliament is very much a discretion of the minister. That's what the Act says. We do know that there are certain board members who must be appointed to the board by the minister. But then, as and when the minister wishes, she can exercise a discretion and appoint a member of parliament to a board. And that process is initiated by the minister. We've had this conversation. It is not a process where the committee of its own accord can forward names to the minister in anticipation of a future exercise of the minister's discretion. We react, the committee reacts to the minister's invitation following the exercise by the minister of her discretion. I have been forwarded correspondence from the ministry to that effect, that the minister now exercises her discretion and invites nominations, not from the committee, nominations of a member of parliament. Of course, the committee makes the nomination, but the member may not necessarily have to be a member of the committee. So, in as much as there may be vacancies, this committee may nominate to the minister a name or names. Where for a particular board there is no vacancy, of course, nothing prevents the committee from forwarding names in anticipation of a future vacancy. However, we do not know at what future date, if at all, the minister will exercise her discretion. It may very well be that the minister exercises her discretion for a nomination, for requesting a nomination to a board from the committee only in February of next year. By then, the minister will certainly have names which we can send through today, but there are so many variables and intervening circumstances which may nullify those names. A member may die, may resign, may be recalled, may be dismissed by his or her party, etc., etc., so that the nomination today of names in anticipation of a future potential vacancy, and even if there is a vacancy, whether the minister will exercise the discretion at that time, those are all vague and unlikelihoods. So I am saying, in as much as there is no prohibition, if there's no prohibition to send names through, it may just be an exercise in futility because of changing intervening circumstances. Rather, what one would want is to, like I said earlier, react to the minister's nomination, invitation for nominations, so that at a future date, if and when the minister exercises her discretion, we will react by actually forwarding then and only then certain names. Like I said, there's no prohibition now to forward names, but it may be futile because of changing circumstances. And in any case, we act on the invitation of the minister's request for nominations. That, as far as that issue is concerned, Chairperson. There was a question, if I get it right, as to whether we can nominate a councillor or another person. There's no provision in the Act that allows for this committee to nominate a person outside of provincial parliament. I have had, while the question was being asked, I had a quick scan, and there's no authority or even inference that provincial parliament standing committee on health may even recommend or nominate someone from another sphere of government. There's no provision here for that. In any case, the minister exercises her discretion, and she, in correspondence to the committee, asks for the committee to nominate one of their own, and not for the committee to nominate period to nominate one of their own. Chair, those are the questions I think I was called upon to volunteer some thoughts. I'm not sure if I missed anything though.
No, you have not. Thank you very much for that brief on the questions posed. I note now members Allen, McKenzie and Bosman, if it is to seek clarity on what Advocate Marsdorp just said, then I will take your round. And then after that we have to, and I also note Member Barnes, welcome Member Barnes. Then we have to move forward. I think what Advocate Marsdorp has advised us on is quite clear. Member Allen.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. In terms of the input from Advocate Marsdorp, I appreciated there's just one matter that I would want the committee to consider, that I don't necessarily think that it will be an exercise in futility should we put a name forward and that particular member is no longer there, because it's still the minister's discretion. Even if we give 42 names today, every member's name is to the minister, and those members are no longer there, it doesn't mean that they will be appointed should a vacancy arise. It's still up to the minister's discretion. And I think if we are proactive in this regard, it could avoid a lengthy process of getting the names to the minister. But the way I understand it, Chairperson, it's fairly simple that the minister sent the chairperson a letter. In the letter, she stated that she would like to appoint members to the attached list of hospital boards. That list was beamed up on the screen. And then we as a committee, we just need to then forward via the minuted resolution of this committee today, forward that names to the minister, and the minister will then use her discretion to appoint. So even in my case, for example, I listed 4 hospitals. And then if should the minister decide that Member Allen shouldn't be on either, on all 3 of them, then that's up to the minister. But if the minister decides number 1, no for Regan, number 2, yes for Regan, for example, that's totally up to the minister. And if we would want to then be proactive as a committee to say that because I would like to potentially nominate Dalen Mitchell also for Beaufort West. And then it's up to the minister to ultimately decide, Chairperson. I hope that is clear from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Member Allen. Member McKenzie. Member McKenzie, are you there? I'm going to move on to Member Bosman until you are back. Member Bosman.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I'd like to propose that.
Member Bosman, continue.
I'd like to propose that we continue and act in futility by submitting those names to the minister, and the minister can then exercise her discretion as Advocate Marsdorp has just advised us. So that would be my proposal moving forward.
Thank you very much. Member McKenzie, are you back? Meneer McKenzie. I'm going to move on to Member Barnes.
Thank you, Voorzitter. Mine is more a clarity on a question that I asked last week at the Standing Committee. And I think those that were affected were myself and Member Philander on the names of the hospital boards that are not reflecting. My question was not to ask if we can be placed when there is a position, but rather can't we be co-opted, because in my mind, generally as members, we are not occupying anybody's space. If there's a committee that is existing, can't we then just be co-opted on the board that is already there? That's my question to Advocate Marsdorp to guide us on. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Member Windvogel.
I'm covered, thank you, Chair, by Member Barnes.
Thank you very much. Member McKenzie.
Chairperson, can you hear me now?
Can hear you loud and clear. Thanks. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I got cut off with driving. Chairperson, let's just nominate the names and let the minister apply her discretion. I think that's the simpler version of things.
Thank you very much. That is then seconding to the proposal of Member Bosman. If both of you can lower your hand, as well as Member Barnes. Advocate Marsdorp, you want to respond to Member Barnes quickly?
Chairperson, my response can certainly just be limited to what the Act is saying, and the Act does not provide for additional members, whether the person has voting rights or observer status, etc. The Act just point blank does not provide for additional members on boards. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Advocate. And then committee, in regard to where we are and moving forward, the proposal was that we submit from this committee all the names that we have received in regard to the hospital boards. We submit the names to the Minister of Health. The Minister then should apply the discretion as per the Act. In regard to that proposal, it was Member Bosman who has proposed and Member McKenzie who has seconded the proposal. I put it forward to this committee that yay or nay on the proposal?
Yay, Chairperson.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Then therefore, Namonde, as our procedural officer, you will submit the names as has been received and as we have put forward in this committee. I just want to check with Member Allen. Member Allen, you have put on Khayelitsha Hospital as well, but I want to ask now in regard to Member Baku Vos, who have also put on Khayelitsha Hospital. Do we then take your name off for Khayelitsha Hospital?
Chairperson, thank you so much. I would be more than happy to only submit the 3 hospital boards that I would be then interested in on serving. If Nomonde, based on my email, can remove Khayelitsha, but then also for it to be minuted that I am nominating Member Dalen Mitchell for Beaufort West as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. I have also said that he have indicated for Beaufort West. So, Member Windvogel, I note your hand.
Thank you, Chair. I'm a bit confused. There was a resolution taken saying that we will also only submit names that was received by Nomonde. But now you are saying, are you opening up for us to make new nominations?
No.
So I just need clarity on that point, Chair.
No, I'm not opening up to put new names. I'm putting up the names that we have received. Member Mitchell was a late submission.
So then we must open up the whole process in terms of late submissions, because I also got members who want to put their names, but they are also late. I just received 2 of them last night, but I told them it's late. So now I'm asking, are you still allowing us? Because that looks like you are still allowing us.
Then I'm not going to take names that are coming in now. They had ample time to do it. So you said that you received names now. Member Windvogel?
Last night, Chair.
Last night, okay, all right. Okay, then Namonde, in regard to the names that we have received, it was Member Philander for Paul, even though Paul was not on the list of vacancies. Member Windvogel for Swellendam, Member Bosman for Ladysmith, Member Botha for Bergrivier Cluster and Citrusdal, Member Barnes for Beaufort West, Member McKenzie for Mitchell's Plain, even though it's not on the list. Beaufort West is also not on the list of vacancies. And then also Member McKenzie for the Western Cape Rehabilitation Centre, and then Member Allen for that as well, Western Cape Rehabilitation Centre, as well as Alexandra Hospital and Karl Bremer Hospital. Members, is that correct what I'm reading back to you now?
Yes, Chair.
And Member Baku.
He was Member Baku Vos, who indicated for Klapmuts Clinic, who indicated for Stellenbosch Hospital as well as Cluttersville, and for Kailicha Hospital. And Kailicha is one of the on the vacancy list, and yeah, the others are not. Member Winvogel, your hand is still raised. Is it in addition to?
Oh,
Okay.
no, Chair.
Okay, all right. So members, that's a recommendation, that's a proposal that we're taking forward from this standing committee. That is the list of names that we will put forward to the minister, and the minister to apply according to the Act a discretion in regard to the nominations that is put forward to her. All in agreement.
Yes, Chair.
Thank you, Namonde. That takes care then of our point 1 on the agenda. We will now go to point 2 on the agenda. If you can flight that minutes. Thank you, Namonde. You can move up. This was our last week's meeting, members. Let's just go to that recommendation. And please ensure that that is the recommendation that this committee has embarked on. Okay. And then there's information requested from this committee. And then that is also the administrative task that we have handled in the committee 5.1 and 5.2, and then also all the committee reports and the minutes that we have handled. Members, can I have a mover and shaker for this adoption of this minutes, or is there any corrections or amendments to this minute? None. Can I have a proposer and a seconder to adopt the draft minutes, please? Niemand?
I wasn't there, Chair, so I can't second.
Yeah, I know you cannot. Members that were in the meeting, can I propose that we adopt?
Yes, Chairperson, I will second.
Thank you very much. Members, then that takes care of number 2 on the agenda. In regards to this standing committee meeting, any recommendations, resolutions for this committee meeting? None? Member Allen, did you want to say something?
Covered my side, Chairperson.
Okay, all right. Going. Then there is none. Members, then that is our agenda, the shortest agenda for health in a long time. That is, or the shortest meeting rather, that is our agenda for the standing committee meeting of 19 May 2021. Advocate Marsdorp, I want to thank you for joining us and giving us clarity in regard to the act pertaining to our nominations on the hospital board. So thank you for being with us, and then also to You want to say something, Advocate? I noted your mic went on.
No. I just said thank you for acknowledging that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. And then to IT who have assisted us, thank you very much. And then to Namonde, thank you for the logistics around making the standing committee meeting happen. And then to all of you members who have taken the time out, especially our additional members who have joined us, thank you very much. And for the alternate who stood in for our chairperson who is not here today, and thank you for your assistance in me chairing the standing committee meeting. The standing committee meeting of health is now adjourned. Thank you, go well and keep safe.
Thank you, Chair. Goodbye,
Thank
everyone.
you, Chairperson.
Bye-bye.